The Wild Borneo expedition takes you to see Borneo's greatest natural wonders, from the summit of Mount Kinabalu to orangutans, proboscis monkeys, the world's largest flower, giant caves, and ending on a beautiful beach for a couple of days for relaxing and resting. We begin the expedition in Kuching in Sarawak, Malaysian Borneo. The first stop on the itinerary is a trek into beautiful, pristine rainforest, where we can often find giant Rafflesia flowers in bloom. These enormous flowers are among the biggest in the world, yet remain open just for a few days before dying. The pristine rainforest here is home to giant buttress root trees and many animals, including longhorn beetles, weird lantern bugs, gibbons, and beautiful hornbills. The next morning, we transfer to speedboats and head out to visit Bako National Park, which is located on a peninsula into the South China Sea and is accessible only by its beautiful beaches. Here, we explore the coastal heath forest, passing by bird nest ferns to look for macaques and proboscis monkeys in the wild. The footprints of the primates in the mud often lead us to troops high up in the trees. Bako is teeming with incredible wildlife, including beautiful reptiles, exquisite orchids, and many spectacular carnivorous pitcher plants. After a full day at Bako, we return back to the boats and head back to Kuching for the night. The next morning, we drive far inland into the interior of Sarawak to begin a visit to the native tribes. Here, we transfer into river canoes and motor up the river, passing beautiful, pristine rainforest that's home to wild orangutans. If we're lucky, we may even spot a wild orangutan or their nests high up in the tree canopy. As the rivers become shallower and smaller, we're forced to frequently jump off the boats to pass the shallows and small rapids. Finally, we reach a traditional Iban village, deep in the rainforest, our home for the next few days. During our stay with the Iban, we trek out to visit an old traditional Iban longhouse, home to many Iban families. The Iban are famed for their weaving, basket work, and beautifully intricate traditional tattoos. And our new Iban friends guide us further upstream to visit a spectacular waterfall close to the head of the river. And here we stop for lunch. While the food's being cooked, we can enjoy the waterfall and swim in the refreshing water. Small native fish tickle as they nibble your toes, giving you a natural pedicure. And we then try a traditional Iban meal, cooked in bamboo over a fire. The bamboo steams the delicious food packed within, and it's then split open for us all to try. The next morning, we return back downriver and all the way back to Kuching. Along the way, we can visit stands of beautiful carnivorous pitcher plants, including Nepenthes mirabilis, and the ferocious fanged pitcher plant Nepenthes bicalcarata. A short flight then takes us north to Sabah, where we visit vast cave systems, famed for swifts and bats. Inside the cave's enormous chambers, there are huge, spectacular stalactite and stalagmite formations, as well as intricate cave centipedes with their long legs. And of course, countless swiftlets whose nests have been collected for centuries to make traditional bird's nest soup.
I did not like centipedes, but very fascinating. Yeah.
We then visit the world-renowned Sepalok Orangutan Rehabilitation Centre. This is an inspiring conservation project which rehabilitates captive or captured orangutans back into the wild. Funds from our entrance fee help support the orangutan conservation program. And we have the privilege of watching orangutans that are in the process of being rehabilitated for release back out into the wild. These beautiful primates come down from the trees to feeding platforms, and we can watch them dining on fresh fruit. Sepalok also preserves vast tracts of beautiful, pristine rainforest as habitat for the orangutans. And we can explore these reserves using well-marked trails. One of our past groups had an incredible encounter with a wild orangutan on these trails. Whilst walking in the jungle, we spotted an orangutan from a distance. We all stood perfectly still and in silence, and the orangutan chose to slowly approach us cautiously. She came up close to the motionless group and even allowed her photo to be taken. Then she melted away back into the forest in silence. The next part of our itinerary involves visiting a well-managed reserve for proboscis monkeys. We walk along a boardwalk trail through beautiful mangrove forest. The proboscis monkeys are so called because of the male's distinctive long noses. And when it's feeding time, the whole troop comes down to the feeding platforms for an easy meal. Here, we may also see silver leaf monkeys. And even spectacular hornbills, as well as mudskippers, which are amazing fish that can climb out of the water and onto land. We then drive to Mount Kinabalu, and along the way can visit populations of the carnivorous pitcher plants Nepenthes macrovulgaris, Nepenthes rafflesiana, and Nepenthes gracilis. And we stop at another reserve to see a different species of the giant flower Rafflesia. The next morning, we enjoy spectacular views of Mount Kinabalu, the tallest mountain in all of Borneo. And we then begin an ascent up this spectacular peak, starting out by passing beautiful waterfalls and through lush, pristine forest. Porters, carrying incredible loads, bound effortlessly past. But we can proceed without rushing, going little by little, seeing beautiful rhododendrons, with the summit of the mountain in sight, always as our goal. Along the trail, we can stop to photograph the incredible pitcher plant Nepenthes villosa, with its intricate peristome, and the hybrid pitcher plants Nepenthes harryana and Nepenthes kinabaluensis. Gradually, the trail becomes rockier and rockier towards the upper slopes of the mountain, and the trees shrink to bonsais, covered with beautiful lichen. We stay the night at 3,000 meters, where hot food and a comfortable bed awaits. The next morning, those that want to start out very early can begin an ascent right up to the summit in torchlight. If we're lucky, and the weather's with us, we will see the entire summit area and beautiful sunrise views over the Bornean landscape. We can then explore the dramatic surface of the mountain summit itself, and then slowly begin our descent back down to the lowlands. The next day, we can relax a little, visiting the Kinabalu Botanic Gardens to see exquisite collections of orchids, including rare Paphiopedilum flowers. And afterwards, we cross a beautiful gorge in the shadow of Mount Kinabalu to see the biggest carnivorous pitcher plant in the world, which traps animals as big as rats.
Can't believe how big this thing is. Wow. Massive.
Here, we can also see a plethora of beautiful wild orchids. Finally, leaving Mount Kinabalu, we visit a traditional fruit market, where we can try delicious exotic local fruits, including the strangely patterned snake fruit and mangosteen, and the famed durian, which is celebrated for its distinctive smell but surprisingly delicious fruit.
An excellent creamy texture and that typical durian flavour, very nice.
Our last stop is for some well-deserved rest and relaxation for 2 days on a beautiful tropical island. It was here where the TV show Survivor was filmed, and the island is famed for its incredible diversity of animals, ranging from juvenile coconut crabs to giant monitor lizards and even macaques. There are plenty of opportunities to relax in hammocks, for snorkeling, diving, or just sunbathing on the beach. The perfect end to a perfect trip. To secure a place on this expedition, or to learn more about our many different eco-friendly trips to other amazing destinations, please visit our website.